The first time Daniel saw the panda, it wasn't in a zoo or on a screen or in one of those glossy wildlife magazines people flip through and forget. It was in the rain, a thin, cold rain that turned the mountain paths of Sichuan into slick veins of mud and silence. Daniel had come there running from a life in Chicago that had collapsed so quietly he hadn't even noticed it was over until there was nothing left to hold on to. No job, no apartment, no one waiting for him. So he kept going, further than most tourists, further than the guides recommended, until even the signs stopped pretending to know where he was. That's when he heard it. Not a roar, not a growl, a soft, broken sound, like something trying not to cry. He followed it. And there she was, a panda, half hidden beneath a collapsed bamboo thicket, her massive body trembling. One paw twisted at an unnatural angle, her black and white fur soaked, clinging to her like a memory she couldn't escape. For a moment, they just stared at each other. Daniel should have backed away. Every instinct screamed at him to leave. Wild animal, dangerous, unpredictable. But something in her eyes stopped him. Not fear, recognition. Like she had already decided he wouldn't hurt her. "Hey," he whispered, as if the mountain itself might shatter if he spoke too loudly. The panda didn't move, so he took a step closer, then another. By the time he reached her, his hands were shaking. Not from fear, but from the overwhelming certainty that this moment mattered more than anything else in his life. "I'm not going to hurt you," he said, even though he had no idea if she understood. Carefully, slowly, he knelt beside her. Up close, she was enormous, powerful, and yet completely helpless. Her paw was clearly broken. Daniel swallowed hard. "I don't know what I'm doing," he admitted, "but I'm not leaving you here." And for the first time, the panda made a sound. Not pain this time, but something softer. Almost relieved. It took him 3 days to get her somewhere safe. 3 days of dragging, lifting, improvising splints with broken bamboo, and talking, constantly talking, as if silence would let her slip away. He named her May, not because he thought she needed a name, but because he needed something to call her when the loneliness crept back in. "Hang in there, May," he'd say, wiping rain from her face. "Almost there, May," he'd whisper when his arms felt like they were going to give out. "Don't leave me, okay?" he'd mutter when her breathing grew shallow. By the time they reached an abandoned ranger shelter deep in the forest, Daniel was barely standing. But May was still alive. And that was enough. Weeks passed. Daniel didn't go back, didn't call for help, didn't even think about leaving. He learned how to clean her wounds, how to reset the splint when it slipped, how to gather bamboo in ridiculous amounts just to keep her fed. And slowly, so slowly, he almost didn't notice, she began to heal. The first time she tried to stand, she collapsed. The second time, she stayed up for 3 seconds. The third time, she took a step. Daniel laughed then. A real laugh. The kind that comes from somewhere you forgot still existed. "You're doing it," he said, his voice cracking. "You're actually doing it." May looked at him, really looked at him, and something passed between them. Not ownership, not dependency, something closer to trust. They became inseparable. Daniel talked. May listened. May wandered. Daniel followed. At night, when the mountains grew cold and the world felt too big, she would settle beside him, her massive body radiating warmth. And for the first time in years, Daniel slept without dreams. But nothing like that lasts. It never does. The helicopters came at dawn, loud, violent, tearing the sky open. May panicked immediately, trying to run, her injured leg not fully healed yet. Daniel grabbed her, holding on as if he could anchor her to the earth. "It's okay," he said, even though it wasn't. Men in uniforms poured into the clearing, wildlife officials, rescue teams. They had been searching for her, for weeks, a critically endangered panda, missing and presumed dead, until someone spotted smoke from Daniel's shelter, and now they were here to take her back. "You did a good thing," one of them told Daniel, placing a hand on his shoulder, "but she belongs with her kind." Belongs. The word hit harder than anything else. May growled as they approached, not out of fear, out of defiance. She moved closer to Daniel, pressing her head against his chest. He froze. "Hey, hey," he whispered, wrapping his arms around her. For a moment, the world went silent. Just a man and a panda, holding on to something neither of them could keep. "They'll take care of you," he said, his voice barely audible. "Better than I can." She didn't move. "They'll make sure you're safe." Still nothing. Daniel closed his eyes. "I'm not enough for you," he said, the words breaking as they came out. That's when she made that sound again, the one he heard the first day. Soft. Broken. Like something trying not to cry. They sedated her. She fought it. God, she fought it. Until her strength gave out. Until her body went still. Daniel stayed with her the whole time, his hand resting on her head. "I'm right here," he whispered. "I'm right here." Even when she couldn't hear him anymore, they asked if he wanted to come, to visit, to see her at the conservation center. He said no, not because he didn't want to, but because he knew. If he saw her again, behind glass, surrounded by people, reduced to something the world could understand, it would destroy what they had. Months later, back in Chicago, Daniel found himself standing in front of a TV. A news segment, a recovered panda, a miracle story. "She showed remarkable trust toward humans," the reporter said. "Experts believe she survived because of an unknown individual who cared for her in the wild." The camera cut to May. Healthy, strong, alive. She looked different, not physically, but something in her eyes had changed, or maybe it hadn't. Maybe it was just too far away now. Daniel reached out, his fingers brushing the screen. "Hey, May," he whispered. For a second, just a second, she turned her head, straight toward the camera, and Daniel felt it. That same recognition, that same impossible connection, across continents, across worlds, across everything that said they should have never mattered to each other. He smiled, and for the first time since he let her go, he cried.